Train, Dust 2, and then Vertigo as the decider. So I'm excited. We already had talked about the veto. We'll have to round it up again once we actually hop into the action because we don't have a lot of time to chat right now.
Yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm excited to see what we've got going on. It's going to be a little bit challenging for me. I apologize, folks, if I have a little bit of information recognition issues. I don't have the ability to get into CSGO network right now. It's still down for me. Fortunately, we've gotten all of our players in and Dean's in, our observers in. So everyone who really matters is in. And I'm just going to be
You matter
watching
too, Mike.
Dean's relay of it.
Yeah, with no sound, so it might be a little bit awkward. My PC is just about chugging along, I guess, to stick with the train references. But
Yeah.
yeah, my
You'll
CS
just
is
have to
it's staying
point
above
out.
60 FPS anyway. We're hovering about 100, so it won't affect the stream anyway. I can just see it because I've got the 240 hertz monitor, so I'm like, oh, this is so choppy.
Mhm. You'll just have to point out any audio cues to me that I critically
True,
miss.
true.
That's
Mike
what's
could be
going to
like, why
matter.
would they do that? I'm like, bro, he was stepping.
This is a really interesting matchup. We talked about it a little bit in the pregame when we were
Hmm.
talking about the veto, but the last time these two teams met, they played these exact three maps, and North took it 2-1. They've beaten them in this series before. Now, Dust 2 is likely a lost cause for North, and I think they're probably coming into this veto assuming it. They have a perma, so they had to allow Dust 2 through. It hasn't been a good map for them lately. They've been dropping it to all sorts of teams, and the last time they met, it was a 16-9 for Sprout. So North are going to put that map out of their minds. They'll give it the best try, but they're not really going to worry too much about that in the series. It's about Train, and it's about Vertigo for North. And Sprout, they're a good train team, but they've been up or down. They've had mixed results on this map of late. And obviously, the last time they met, North got the better of them to a tune of 16-10, 16-11, something along those lines. So not particularly dominant, but also not, a squeaker, a nail biter. Um, I am curious to see how things are going to start out here. Whether North are just going to stick to the same game plan they ran last time. Whether Sprout might have seen some things, particularly in that Illuminar loss that North took, that are exploitable about
Yeah.
North's train side, or whether it was just an off moment for North.
Yeah, they definitely looked a little bit shaky on that train versus Illuminar. And I think we mentioned that in their matchup yesterday that we thought Endpoint might even pull out train somewhere in that veto just because of the fact that they had looked fairly shaky against Illuminar on it. But no, instead it ends up coming out in this one, and it is the choice of North. As you said, it does make sense with the fact that they beat them on it the last time that these two teams played, but Sprout have had some decent results since then themselves, and North overall have looked shaky. Although their
Mm.
nuke when they've been on nuke, they've looked pretty incredible. There, obviously, that doesn't come out in this series, and that makes complete sense because yeah, Sprout is just a ridiculously strong nuke team, so you definitely don't want to be having that in the pool. North, I believe, banded out on their second go around, and of course, we
Yeah.
ended up with Vertigo then as the decider, which is still a really good map for Sprout. It's up there within their top three in terms of statistics, but it is also really good for North. So I feel like if we manage to get to that third map as the decider, that's where we'll have probably the most competitive and most exciting matchup. But I also think Train here can be a really close one. Dust 2, I've got to really lean with Sprout on that one. So if we do
Yeah.
end up seeing North get toppled here on Train, then I think it could be boding well for Sprout to take a 2-0.
What is fun about this veto is that it's unlike most vetoes where you're just going to see teams trade the maps, right? And where if an upset comes in, we're going to be very surprised. Dust 2, we're expecting to be firmly for Sprout. That would be a shocker if North took it. But Train, to be quite frank, I think it's going to be a brawl all the way through. I think that North are favored here, but I don't think it's particularly dramatic. And as we've talked about before, one of the big assets for the Sprout team is just how absurd their map pool is. There are no glaring weaknesses. They're comfortable to play anything and everything. So if you're coming into the server against them, there's no easy silver bullet, right? That you can take them down with. Any map is going to be a
Mm-hmm.
slog, and any of your weaknesses are potentially exploitable as well. It makes them a very tough team to plan for, and it means that at the end of the day, you're probably going to be meeting them on neutral ground, even in your own map picks. And that's what we've seen here, both with the train pick and with the Vertigo decider. Is it's a very comfortable terrain for Sprout. If we get to Vertigo, and I really do hope we get to Vertigo, I think we're going to see extreme fireworks from both sides. But it's North that I think will be the determining factor here. I want to see those stars step up early and often. I'm looking at AZ. I'm looking at Gade. We've had a couple maps where we've had an MSL or a Cajun B step up and go above and beyond. Electro is typically a site anchor for them. He's been good at the job. Not
Mm-hmm.
exemplary in most maps, but very, very, very good. But I want those two stars. I want AZ and Gage shining early because, as we've seen so far in this close qualifier, when both of those players are on point, this is a very tough team to stop.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about it, trying to get towards the weaker maps for Sprout, one of their weaker maps is Inferno, and yeah, that's not all that great for Nord. It was actually Sprout who ended up getting rid of Inferno, but that was only really because it was the choice between that or Vertigo, and Sprout themselves were like, cool, we could get that map, and we could probably have a bit of we would probably have a bit more of an advantage maybe in terms of stats, but Vertigo is just a much better map for them, so they were like, cool, we'll bring that one out. Hopefully it won't be too much longer. We don't really have much of an ETA about what's up at the
we don't have
moment.
any ETA, unfortunately. Apparently we need some sort of an approval to go through with this. I think they've had to fudge some things on the server and change some stuff up to make sure that they can actually get it running, considering there are still issues with the Valve network.
You're not
But
back
they've
in,
managed
no.
to get the server going, but that could potentially create some issues that I think they're just trying to resolve right now, just to make sure that everything's going to run smoothly, that we're not going to have any issues into this game. It's always challenging, when the servers go down, when the network goes down. It's like, okay, how do we circumvent this? How do we find a patchwork bubble gum, run some wires, run some cables, stick things together? The admins do a terrific job of making sure that matches go smoothly, responding to issues quickly, and just getting everything on point. But I mean, look, everyone knows, every CS fan, every CS player knows this is a quirky game when it comes to the code, when it comes to the network sometimes. And one thing breaks, everything goes haywire, it seems.
Yeah, and you have a source to back up that statement.
This is my source, the fact that I can't get into the game right now.
No, your source is the fact that it's on the Source engine.
I didn't even put that together. You got me. You
it was a
boomed
pretty
me
terrible
already.
joke, to be fair. Yeah, we're not having a lot of luck. I don't know. If we don't get an update pretty soon about going back into this, I think we'll probably just have to throw it back over to a break for a few. It's unfortunate, but I mean, this happens sometimes, and hopefully Valve will be able to get them fixed up soon. So at least Mike can get back in, so he won't have to cast through a
That'd be
720p 30 FPS feed with no audio from my Discord.
Fine right now because it's all static. The problem is when
Yeah.
there's a lot of motion, and I really suspect if there's Molotovs and gunshots, it just goes mosaic, and it's very hard to see what's happening. So I am in complete fear of seeing a B-side execute here on Train, because if you have the mollies, you have the smokes, you have the quick clock play coming through, I think this feed's going to get very difficult for me to interpret. It's going to be like trying to watch, scrambled channels on cable back in the day. There's just going to be a bit of here, a bit there, and just a lot of static coming through.
Yeah, I don't know. I got really lucky. I had my game open for quite a while because we had the stream up anyway, and eventually mine just connected out of nowhere. But yeah, you haven't had the same success. It's quite unfortunate. And yeah, guys, we still don't have any information about when we're actually going to be getting back into this game. So I think with that, we best go ahead and throw it over to a little bit of a break. As soon as, of course, we come back, hopefully then we will actually have the game going live. We'll make sure as soon as we're coming back up on your screen, it will be when that pistol round is actually kicked off. So stick with us, guys. We'll be back as soon as possible.
Shadows, I've come to make a name, ready for battle, 'cause I got a throne to claim. Think that I'll crumble, I'll show you in the where you see me coming, better run for cover, 'cause I'm not soaring that I'm never going under. I survived the pain, I know it made me stronger. So meet the monster I came to when all the smoke clears, I'll still be on my feet. Forget all of my fears, 'cause I know my destiny. I feel a champion waking inside of me. It's set in motion, the legends spoken. This is my moment. Can't break my focus, know where I'm going. This is my moment. Where you see me coming, better run for cover, 'cause I'm not soaring that I'm never going survived the pain, I know it made me stronger. They're looking at us, an audience. Keep telling us what we can do, but here we are, showing them, making them wish they were you. We've heard the most when it comes to this. Yeah, every shade of blue, but don't even care what they all say. They think we're out of control. Yeah, truth be told, we know it. It's just the way we live. We own it. 'Cause that we love the thrill. We know it. It's just the way we live. We're grown-up kids. We love the thrill. They're looking at us, an audience. Keep telling us what we can do, but here we are, showing them, making them wish they were you. We've heard the most when it comes to this. Yeah, every shade of blue, but don't even care what they all say. They think we're out of control. Yeah, truth be told, we know it. It's just the way we live. We own it. 'Cause that we love the thrill. We know it. It's just the way we live. We're grown-up kids. It's just the way we live. We know it. It's just the way we live. We own it. 'Cause that we love the thrill. We know it. It's just the way we live. We're grown-up kids. We're grown-up kids.
I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I always wanted the world, I want to conquer the world right now. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now.
All right, everyone, welcome back. As you can see, the pause is still currently on your screen, but it has been removed in real time. We've got a little bit of delay on that GoTV, but we figured we may as well go ahead and bring us into the game, have a little bit of a chat for a moment, and, well, build up to that pistol round that is finally going to be kicking off, Mike. We've been delayed just about an hour now, of course. Thank you, Valve. We love the CSGO servers, very stable. But, issues happen with things. It's just the nature of technology, and overall, it doesn't happen a lot. I think this is the first time I've had it really cut off a broadcast, other than on the Tuesday nights, which is come to be expected, yeah.
Used to get a nice solid hour delay pretty much every Tuesday. They changed that up now. Now they like to shake it up. So we got a Monday delay. Sometimes you get Thursday in. It really just depends on the situation. We could take this a little bit of time to sort of track how we got here. This was a double elimination closed qualifier bracket. Spirit took it through the upper bracket as we're going to get this pistol round underway. Sprout, made it all the way to that upper final before getting knocked down here to the consolidation final. Meanwhile, North got knocked round 2, getting 2-0'd by Spirit and had to fight their way through, taking a 2-1 series over Illuminar, a 2-1 series over Endpoint, and finally getting here. So now we are moving. The game is afoot, folks. The game is very much afoot, and it is nice and mosaic for me, Dean. But it does seem like we're going to get a bit of a spread early on, a little bit of control towards TCOM, but nothing really revealing their hand just yet for North. I suspect this will eventually be a split onto the A site through Ladder and TCON if they don't get anything for free that drags them otherwise, but there's a lot of options here at hand for the Danger Squad.
Yeah, it looks like it definitely could be the aim, but they've made sure to at least have one player over in the B halls making a bit of noise. And oh, okay, I was going to say making the CTs be aware of the fact that they could come in that direction, but D has pushed up through B. just as that player has moved back down Pop Dog. So they know that it's the A hit right now that's being primed, and in from behind, maybe the second. Eventually, yeah, there we go. D-Hab, big plays already. Will eventually fall, and there's actually a couple of trades back from North, but it's not enough as Favin and Snatchy join in as well. And suddenly Gade, he comes to be the lone man standing for North. 1-on-3, he has the opportunity to catch one. Okay, good think on Favin. But they all know where he is, and Favin right now, he just needs to make sure he doesn't peek in and doesn't go down unless he has a teammate who's also taking that fight. You can see Gade wants to attempt to isolate it, moving back in around through Brown Drain, but no, Favin still just instantly hits that headshot. There we go, Sprout, they kick off the match with the opening pistol round. And we got into this before. We had a much deeper chat into the veto a little while back. Before, of course, we knew we were going to be on such a long pause. We figured we may as well get on and have a little bit of a chat, so we weren't waiting on the break screen. But then it ended up being about an hour, so I'm sure we have plenty of people here now who weren't there before. So yeah, this is the pick of North. We said that it's pretty much a must-win for them with Dust 2 coming up next, and with that being such an amazing map for Sprout. But if we can get the Vertigo, then that on paper would be a very close one. So North need this win. Sprout will likely take Dust 2, and then Vertigo potentially to decide as a bit of a banger. That's what I'm predicting anyway.
I want to point out there is a little bit of a concern factor here for North. In the series where they beat Sprout on Train, they won both pistols. That was a critical piece of it because it wound up being a 16-11. So both pistols actually accounts for that difference in rounds. It's a huge amount when you can win and convert a pistol. We're going to have the hit enter. Snatchy just demolishes everybody. No problem here. And Snatchy comes away with a 4K. As he's not even going to make that one take a little while. He just mows them all down instantly. Dika gets in for a little bit of fun, but that is the Snatchy show. He's out to 5-0 early on here, and Sprout cruised through those first two rounds. But here come the guns. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Here come the guns. And I say it may be all right for North. They've got some utility to get on towards the site. They've got the AKs. There's no up yet for Sprout, so they don't need to be too concerned about that. But let's see how Sprout compensate for this MP9. They want to adjust into it. We're going to see some control towards ladder, control towards the B-halls early on, and it seems like North might just go for bit of the default. Little bit. There's aggression out Ivy. That's the answer here with the SMG. The deep smoke, control taken. Now Cajun B can't really hold this. He's got to back away.
Oh, never been rushed down. There's going to be the flank around. Okay, D-Had does make it back in time, but isn't able to do a lot with that for Mass. Snatchy gets the 2. Okay, that was big. Now he keeps them in the 3-on-3 by MSL. The aggressive after plant is what he's aiming for, and gets caught after just 1. That was strange. Takes the flash out. Didn't expect Dennis to also be coming in, I suppose, from around this area after spotting Favin. And look at Gade's position. They don't really seem to be thinking about this at the moment. The player up above him, completely unaware. Favin is surely going down, and the second is being spotted as well. Dennis first, and then no, hang on. Favin turns around. There's a molly in play and no smoke to put it out, and time is getting a little bit awkward. Favin needs to push in for the fight and wins it. Okay, he has enough time, I believe. Yeah, should be just about there. Okay.
I don't have the audio cue, so your guess is better, much better than mine, but it does seem like he has it just in time. Nicely done there. Sprout with a 3-0. What a turnaround. I thought Gade had those two wrapped up for sure.
That turnaround from Favin.
Incredible. Favin, we saw him go on some of these huge pop-off rounds during Sprout's run in this tournament. We've seen it from him all sorts of times where the clutch comes back in. I think there was an insane 4K clutch from him at one point. Trying to remember when exactly that was, but those numbers are stuck in my mind, and it's always a threat. And it does seem like early on, Sprout are on point. We've seen Snatchy be Snatchy before he even gets the AWP in hand. Now he's got that. They've actually got the double op as well. Secondary going for Dennis. Favin's on point. D has been solid. It's a tough scenario against a strong Sprout. And there we see it from Snatchy already getting into the B-halls, getting a pick. He's looking for more. He's ready for them to come by. He's got a player in support. Now he's kind of stuck. That might be a problem unless D-Ha kills everybody. And that's what happens. Snatchy coming back for one more, but that's an aggressive B-hold working to perfection.
Yeah, and apart from that round, obviously, where Favin had to clutch it out, now this has been pretty clean from Sprout, because they were able to keep the 5 alive, obviously, on the anti-eco hold over towards B, and now keeping 5 alive again. It builds that economy back up from the previous round, and with that, Nord aren't able to buy. You're on the pistols. I'm just not liking seeing this start coming in from Nord. Obviously, we've seen them start off slow yesterday as well, when they actually lost out the opening map of Dust 2 to Endpoint. And then they bounced back really strong. That has to be noted. They were able to come back on both Nuke and Inferno with fantastic performances. But this time, if they end up losing out their own pick here of Train, then it's Dust 2 that comes up next. And I've got to say it, and I don't think it's really all that debatable. Sprout are a great Dust 2 team. Probably even better than Endpoint. So it's going to be a troublesome one, rather, if they end up having to go there while already down a map. And yeah, kills again, all going in favor of Sprout. I don't think they're going to lose anyone here. It should be another clinging round to just keep building that bank.
I have some great news, Dean.
Oh, you're robotic again on us.
Am I?
Yeah, it's whenever you open CS, it seems to be. It's all good.
1 second.
Yeah, what he said was, though, that I think he said he's getting into the server, so we'll be able to give the highest level of casting then, because Mike, he had no sound. He was watching at 30 FPS and 720p off of the stream just because his CS servers weren't up. He couldn't connect to the GoTV, but he'll be all good now.
Do I sound beautiful now?
Speak again?
Do I sound A-okay? How are we doing? 10
You sound like you normally do. I'll just say that. Right?
That's good. All right. Yeah, you don't have to say I sound great, but as long as I sound per normal. And I'm in the server, folks, so we can do some proper casting here. I can actually see this without a giant mosaic flying over the screen every 2 seconds. Oh, man, it's such a good start for Sprout. And there's going to be an opening pick for MSL. That's what they needed. It's Snatchy who goes down as well. He has been unreal to this point. That's only his second death with 10 kills to show for it as well. So now with Snatchy drop, does North have an opportunity to get on the board in this game? Diha has taken deep B-Hall's control, but he's going to give it up. Just drops smoke, leaves doubt in their mind. They can't push through it. And he'll withdraw so that he can't be punished early on here. Cajun, meanwhile, wants to take Ivy control, but another smoke is going to thwart his intentions, and he's revealed his presence. So where do they go, North? Denied map control every which way. Their positions are relatively known. It seems like they're going to work their way into the halls late. Snatchy's been one of the players who's just demolished them in that late B take, and he's not there anymore. So that means the pressure's going to be on for Diha. He's all alone. There's no one here to help him out.
Yeah, but they haven't actually quite brought the bomb over yet. So I'm wondering, are they ready for the commitment? Or will we see a reaction from Sprout as well before that commitment comes in, if it is going to be brought over towards B? Because they could have some time. Is the bomb being brought back up to the halls? I think it's being brought in towards A main. So yeah, they're going to start selling a little bit of a fake towards B. It's only Gade for the moment who goes out, and yeah, he's taken out Diha. So that's pulled the rotations now in through Connector, Dennis, and one other player. Although Spitty was able to find himself info pretty early there, being up close Pop Dog, I believe. So they do get the rotation back in, but Dennis is in trouble. Gade is still holding down B, while his teammate Dennis being encircled on from the back lines and just really all over on that A-bomb site indeed. Favin falls. This round should be going the way of North unless somehow Dennis pulls off a ridiculous clutch. And his goal is more than likely to just back away and save this up.
He just mind-gamed Gade, though. Gade was hunting for him. He thought he'd withdrawn in towards spawn, and Dennis just slipped right past him. So nicely done from Dennis. He'll likely be able to save the AWP as a result. Although it seems like Gade's realized what happened. He's coming back the other direction, still looking for him among the train cars. But it is going to be a round on the board for North, and it's a good time to get it right off of the pistol and into the action. You lose that initial gun round, sure, but now you're in, and you're in with numbers. MSL, got to be a bit careful if he comes up the ladder, but Dennis is actually going to give it up. He's now paranoid about someone coming back in from spawn. There's a lot of angles he can be threatened from. He's making noise. He got tagged. He survived. MSL doesn't want to come up the ladder and take it. His op is valuable enough to them that they don't want to give it away. So Sprout, plenty of cash to get right back into it with the double op. Saving one of them makes that less of a burden, but it does mean that North have cracked the board. It came off of an early pick on Snatchy. Let's see if North can find similar success here, or whether this time Snatchy's going to get his revenge. He wants the same fight, too. He's not really adjusting to it. He's like, all right, come on, MSL. Try it again. Try it again. See how it goes this time. MSL's over towards Ivy. Meanwhile, he's moved. It's Dennis alone with the AWP. Yeah. He's going to back away, but this may have been too late. I thought he was going to get punished before that smoke went up. He escapes. A lot of utility comes back the other way to make sure he's not tied up. And so that's actually not a bad result, considering he got out of there, Dean. I was a bit nervous.
Yeah, I think we've seen a couple players the last day being caught up around that area. Normally with the rifles, though. But yeah, Dennis, he only really wanted the early pick. As soon as he's not given it, he just needed to fall back and made the correct decision in doing so. Took a tiny bit of damage, but as you said, wastes those nades at least, or forces them to be used by Nort. So it runs down a little bit, and they do a full A main control at the moment there from Spitty. Oh, I like this, though. AZ, he did spot the shoulder, I believe. Dropping down, trying to bait the peek in. Okay, definitely confirms the information now, but Spitty doesn't take damage, and now he just falls back from main. But that won't instantly be known. Nort, they're going to have to try and reclaim this if they want to be taking it towards the A bomb site. And it looks like they will do so. Spitty, he's just fell back to a new angle to go ahead and jiggle peek. We mentioned how competent this strategy is in online play. You did more so, I guess, the last day. Dennis, misses the initial shot, but then a Spitty swing in. MSL being completely blinded, does go down, but Lekro and Cation return. Okay, it's not looking too bad anymore for Nort, but they don't have a lot of time, and the bomb is dropped towards Ivy at the moment. This is dangerous. Dennis is low, though, eventually being taken out there by AZ, but Dihan, the bomb site, he's alone now. Okay, yeah, this is dangerous. 8 seconds, can he hold on?
No, he's one around. He just has to avoid AZ. Don't take the fight! No, he does! Diho wins it, though. That could have been a catastrophic error because the bomb was dropped towards Ivy. They knew that it was dropped towards Ivy. The Molly came after he got the kill and then got traded out by the Molotov. And Diha manages to win that with one player alive for Sprout. He's the only survivor of the round for either side. That was risky. Taking the face was such a bold play there. But here's what I'll say. North did a really good job of denying information to Sprout, which is why that one came down to the wire, right? Because the way Sprout have liked to play, at least through these early rounds, they like to take that Brown Hall's control. They like to take some Ivy information. You've seen the attempted pushes out towards Ivy because then they know where they want to stack the site. And that didn't happen here. So you saw the rotation come in a little bit late. Diho making his way over late, Snatchy not being there in time, and that's where you get it really messy outside. Despite the messiness, though, Sprout managed to come out on top, but God, it got so close, Dean, and I think if North can continue to do that, we might see some more rounds crack on. Problem is, they're now going to be limited. They win one, they lose the subsequent. They're going to have the guns, but here's where it stops. They need to get something going in this.
Yeah, or at the very least a bomb plant to keep buying, but that won't help with the issue that at the moment they are starting to lose quite a lot of rounds here on their own map choice, and if they go down by a map here early on, Dust 2 coming up next is going to look pretty bad for them overall. So yeah, good damage here again in favor of Sprout as well. It's Cation who's taken low, but the boost, it works out. Good catch by AZ. He was definitely the standout player the last day for North. I mean, that's to be expected. Gade played quite well as well. I remember Cation was actually starting to pop off with Lekro performing pretty consistently too. So they had the players shown up, so we need that again today. And a 1-for-1 trade here over towards B gives them that man advantage, and there we go. Lekro, we had mentioned his name, and he comes alive with it. He had deciding to push forward on B. They were feeling some pressure, so I understand why he wanted to give it a go, but unfortunately, that does mean that they just have to give this round up pretty much. Spitty's actually coming back in, timing pretty decent, catches Lekro just as he was throwing that smoke down. So that's a little bit annoying for him, but do they want to move for that retake? It's not really looking like it.
Nah, it was a parting gift. The advantage, though, is with 3 alive and 3v2, you're probably not going to see North hunt that aggressively, so it should be possible for Sprout to save this without too much of a threat. I love that play from Lekro. He baited the peek in effectively, right? He gets the first kill on the Opper, trading his teammate out, and Snatchy's just in an angle where he can't quite get away. He wasn't close enough to the edge to properly escape.
Yeah.
And then what you have happen is, he's like, okay, where would the second player be positioned if Snatchy's going to try that? Probably on ladder thimbles. So he takes that one-shot back bomb train to clear one spot, just pre-firing it, and then he fades back and waits for the ladder come up. And Diha's thinking that maybe if he took that shot, he's going to continue to press out, thinking there was only one set player on B, and he's trying to take some map control. So Diha comes up the ladder to try and surprise him. Even if he's still tight to the angle, he probably gets that surprise shot. But Lekro, 2 steps ahead, ready for the peak, gets the shot, and that's a big piece of what gets North their second round. So nicely played for Lekro. He's currently pacing his team. Only 6 and 7. Hasn't been a great start for North, obviously. But it's enough. Now here, Sprout have to take the eco. We had talked about how North were up against it. Well, Sprout, the same was said. They've got a Deagle, the 2 saved M4s, and just a teensy bit of utility to try and go for this aggressive IV play. And they've gone for a stack. They will find that no one's going to meet them in this stack, and then they have a decision to make of whether they want to try and run it back in for damage or just save the 2 guns and take them further.
Yeah, I think it's likely just going to be the rifle saving again, and then the pistols trying to get a few exit kills, maybe even steal another weapon or two if possible. It would be a nice addition then in towards this next round to get them all of the nades they could ask for, because obviously there's not much loss bonus going at all at the moment for Sprout. So yeah, they're all actually just backing away. I don't mind it. I mean, they have a flash there on Dennis, I suppose. It's more so just not giving the kills over to North, not letting them build up anything that isn't necessary, although Cajun's lurking, so he's been able to find Snatchy there. I mean, I wouldn't mind if Dehan Dennis just tried to hunt Cajun down at this point and see if they could steal away the weapon, but by now it's taken a little bit too long, so I don't think it's really an option anymore. But yeah, North slowly coming back into it. What do you think they're aiming for right now here on the T side?
If they can get towards 5, I think they're happy, but they'd like more than that. I believe the last time these two teams met, it was like 8-7 in the first half. I'm going to pull up that numbers right now. It was an 8-7, actually, with North taking 8 rounds on their T side. So you need a similar scoreline here. The CT side is typically what we favor on Train, but it's just become very different in the current meta. It's no longer the dominant defensive bastion that we expect. So North, I think 8 rounds is ambitious. I would be shocked if they got there, but if they could get towards 6 or 7, they'll be very pleased with themselves coming out without having taken the pistol. When he flashes over, a lot of utility. MSL's looking for that fight early on. He wants to collect it. There's a player in office, but I don't think he spotted him, and Snatchy's going to get the opener. There's a follow-up as well. Snatchy collecting MSL. This one might be done before they even get started. Gade trying to do something, anything, and he'll find nothing. So the shutdown round again from Sprout. And these come out every once in a while when it's just Snatchy going, okay, I'm going to kill everybody as you try and get onto site.
He's 14
This
and
is what's
5.
going to happen. He's pretty good at this thing.
Yeah.
Pretty good at it.
He can move a mouse very well. I like watching it. We got like a
He
little
is
Mickey
just a
Mouse
delight
laughter.
to watch as a player, right?
He is. He's
just
been
fun
popping off in
respectful.
every single game. I love watching Dehan and Favin as well. They always have some ridiculous rounds in there. Very fun team in general, Sprout to watch. AZ has his pop-offs as well there on the side of North, so this is a game that I expect to definitely have some of those moments. And I mean, we've already had a fantastic clutch from Favin earlier on. But yeah, we're into another gun round. North, they need to start trying to build up a little bit more here again. They need to at least keep it scrappy, and yeah, he has no idea.
Favin doesn't know.
Oh, he's stepping back. Okay,
Gade's
is he going to get this? He at least escapes away, but he still isn't going to be aware, as you're alluding to, that Gade has already gotten full control in Pop Dog. So that could pay off for North to find a kill. Snatchy, this is dangerous to be facing. He has Dennis here to help, but there's players on both sides, and MSL, he's going to win out the duel. We've seen it a while back, and they were able to capitalize on it and convert it into a round win, and the A-bomb site right now is just being completely overrun. Dennis, he's going to need to go huge. If he can somehow get 3 of these kills around Ivy, then they have a chance, but he gets caught with the molly in his hands, and now it's all on Spiddy around here. He has that help actually now from Connector as well, but never mind, it's not really his help anymore. It's just the sole player now coming through and eventually being shut down by the op. So 4 for North, they bounce back. I said if they can keep it scrappy, then that's fine, but they're going to need to actually get another round now off the back of it this time. And if they do so, at that point, Sprout's economy is completely ruined. They'll be on an eco, and we'd see North likely going up towards 6. And as you said, then feeling pretty good at that point with a chance for maybe even a little bit more still.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the reality here is what we're seeing, which is that Sprout's setup and the way they want to play is predicated on getting the early advantage, right? I mean, that sounds pretty obvious. You always want to win the first pick. But they like these forward positioning, and that's tough to hold when one puzzle piece goes out. AC's already got ground. I like this. He's clearing back towards E-box. Snatchy gets dropped. That's a huge duel to find. Can AZ follow it up? Speedy's not looking for it. Where's the adjustment? There's the flashbang, but he doesn't capitalize just yet. The second one goes in. Huge kill for AZ. Yes, he'll get traded, but advantage still there, and you can see the pieces are falling apart here. And North haven't even really committed to this yet. But MSL, that's the bomb now down in Olaf, and that could be the mistake that cost him the round. He gets overwhelmed. He gets peaked by 2. Now Utility goes in to try and defend this site, and North have to slow down. They've worked Cajun B all the way through B, and there is plenty of time on the clock, so he can go either Z or he can go through spawn and threaten from the flank. But in the meantime, Diha goes looking. Diha loses it. Let Crow. Done enough. They don't have to make the move yet. They want to wait for Cajun. That's a huge kill and untraded. But it's going to be a pincer. Gade wants to make the move before his teammate's in position. This could be an error. Oh, he can't go down here, and he's being flanked. Favin goes looking for it. Favin into T-Con. No! Has the wrong idea, and Gade will get past him. Now he knows where Dennis is. Gade will collect that. 35 seconds, though. Do they realize where Favin's playing from? It seems they do. There's the spot. There's the info. Get back around the train car. Molly in to prevent Gade. And the relocation. Favin, good shot. Swaps the gun, but he gets caught in the open, and that's going to be North's round. That came right down to it. It felt like a seesaw just going up and down for both sides. But getting caught in the open for Favin is the killing blow, and that's going to be North closing this gap just a bit more.
I get where he was coming at with that play, though. The hope was, obviously, he put the molly straight down on the bomb. He was hoping the other player would go through behind the green train and just in towards Olaf to try and recover the bomb. And if he had have made it the pop dog, at that point he can tuck in for a second, catch the player on the cross back over and, well, try and win the round that way. But yeah, a little bit weird. Taking his knife out, getting caught. It's unfortunate he didn't go straight to that AK after picking it up. The one situation, I guess, where CL_auto weapon switch would have been a help if it was on. But yeah, it's as we said, that gives North now the opportunity to really start building up some rounds, and that's what they need. As we said, Train is a must-win for them in this series. If they manage to take it, then I still feel like we're going to see the 3-map series, but I do feel like North could claim the whole series overall. As I said, Vertigo, it's primed to be a very close game between these two.
I think that the thing that I'm most enjoying here for North is they've recognized Sprout's game plan, which is built around getting Snatchy an attempt at that early pick.
It's hard not to recognize when he's so present on the scoreboard.
This is true. This is true. But I mean, they're playing into it, right? They're not trying to avoid him. What they're trying to do is they're trying to predict where he's going to go for it and fight him. And just get there before he does, so then you can come in with the punishment. They're anticipating Snatchy. And Snatchy is good. He's going to get you some of those rounds. But on a T side, if you can split that half, that's fine. Oh, they've overlooked the player on ladder. This could be problematic for Gade, but he's just going to kill everybody, it seems. Is he going to get caught? Speedy's behind him. Or rather, sorry, Snatchy. Snatchy, not going to be able to line up that last shot. He did the damage. And so eventually Gade will go down, but he killed 4 beforehand, so they'll let him rest. Everybody else can come in to make sure his AK doesn't survive into the next round. And that's going to be it. Speedy gets cleaned up. There was no chance for him to escape. You saw 3 players were chasing. And North now 1 away from the tied scoreline on their T side. Sprout had a prime position with 5 rounds right off the jump. And since then, they've only been able to collect 2. This is problematic for the Sprout squad.
Momentum-wise, North are going to be feeling fantastic now. But if Sprout can get 1 more round, then I still feel like it's a half that they could be overall decently happy with. Obviously, they would have wanted a lot more in the start, but in general, it would be okay. And I think it'd keep them in a decent spot. But North, yeah, no, they've just done such a great job at recovering this half right now. And it still could keep on going in their direction. They could come out with the 8 rounds. This buy isn't all that great, as we can see for Sprout. They're lacking nades on a lot of those players, especially. Favin down in Pop Dog at the moment. Gate above, and that's actually where most of North are, and I believe they're just going to take it over towards B. Yeah, everyone's actually making their way over in this direction, so we're going to see a quicker B hit. And having a look at the radar right now, you can see for Sprout, they've actually already got a 3-man stack over on this side of the map. They've got for now Diha, Snatchy, and also Spiddy in position to hold this one down. Taking a bit of a gamble, but it could pay off if they keep it in play for now. And here we go, the execute coming over. Smokes down deep as well to try and slow rotations through connector. But we have one under the ladder. You have the Og there in the back lines as well. But the flashes actually blind up Snatchy and did take Spiddy off the angle for a moment. But somehow all of the frags have come back. Diha held strong on the bomb site, and then Dennis stepped up elsewhere. I believe he was the player who actually came through connector. Indeed he was. Taking out 2 for himself, and suddenly it's all on Cajun. It started off well on that execute, but it quickly crumbled, and there's no recovery to be had either. So Sprout, they do rebound now and bring themselves up to 8. At least securing 1 more round and a lead at the halftime, but ideally they would want to bounce back and get this final round as well. Coming through at a 9-6 then, yeah, pretty good half, and I think they can forget about the fact that they lost a few rounds in a row.
Yeah. That would be ideal. They're not going to have the AWP to do so, though, so there are limitations here. But maybe that keeps Snatchy a bit more patient on it. I will say it's already better than their last go-around. They took 7 rounds on their CT side against North last time. Now they've got 8. So, looking better by the moment. Now, let's see if they can make it all that much sweeter in victory. Nice timing on the nade. Dennis is going to eat that. There's the flashbang. They're anticipating this play, but he's still going to get both. They were ready for him. They were watching for that exact maneuver, and Dennis doesn't care. Dennis takes down 2. What a huge play. The veteran. Going to be making moves out on towards the site. Diha is up, or do they realize this? They're going to realize it when he throws that flashbang. Now they do.
Yeah.
Player out towards Z. It's going to be the encroach back in. They'll give up the bomb plant since it doesn't matter in this situation. There's the nade that finishes a kill. Snatchy gets claimed, but everybody else is faltering, and Lecro is not long for this world either. Dennis fittingly gets the last kill there. The defuse will be on, and Sprout will secure the 9-6 here.
Yeah, that pretty strong half overall. I think North aren't going to be unhappy though, because it's still a decent recovery from the position that they were initially looking to be in. So yeah, I think this second half it's gonna be a very close one. I don't think that first half can give us much of a conclusion, considering both teams are stepping up, both teams have players popping off. All I really know is that we're gonna have a great game on our hands, but we're gonna have to send it over to a quick break, guys. We'll be back in just around 3 minutes, so make sure you stick with us.
Out of the shadows, I've come to make a name. Ready for battle, cause I got a thing to claim. Think that I'll crumble, I'll show you in the slide. Where you see me coming, better run for cover, cause I'm not someone that I'm never going under. I survived the pain, I know it made me stronger. So meet the monster I came to conquer. When all the smoke clears, I'll still be on my feet. Forget all of my fears, cause I know my destiny. I feel a champion waking inside of me. It's set in motion, the legends feel good. This is my moment. Can't break my focus, know where I'm going. This is my moment. Where you see me coming, better run for cover, cause I'm not soaring that I'm never going under. I survived the pain, I know it made me stronger. So meet the monster I came to conquer. When you see me coming, better run for cover. I survived the pain, I know it made me stronger. They're looking at us in audience, keep telling us what we can do, but here
Alright everyone, welcome back. We said it wouldn't be too long of a break, and I was telling the truth as we are right back into the pistol round now. Ideally, I think North do want to pick this up so that they can keep up that momentum that they had there in the middle of that previous half pretty much, but it hasn't started off too well. Cajun, he did get himself the initial kill, a couple trades came back, but North, they've come alive. MSL specifically on that CZ, been able to take down 2 there from Pop Dog, and despite Dennis now being still alive and having a chance here on B to get the bomb plant, winning the round is going to be tough with just 23 HP.
All he wants is that plant, though, and he got it. He got it. The chances of winning this are minimal at best. Cajun B is going to make sure that the thought's not even in his mind. A nice 3K for Cajun on the pistol. And the defuse will be on there, but that bomb plant means that North are not out of the woods. We're going to see the force buy come in from Sprout, and as we know, that T-side force buy is one of the most absurd things in the current meta of Counter-Strike. So let's see what North do as a response and how much Sprout are going to bring to bear. Lots of capital available. You can get 2 rifles there easily. No, they're going for pistols. They're going to have it. Sprout don't want to do it. Sprout are running counter meta. They're not going to mess with this force buy at all. They're just breaking out some deagles. They want to get to the guns early. And that's interesting.
Snatchy, you want him to have that up, man. He was looking amazing on the previous half.
That is true. You're very correct about that. And it's going to be Dennis who's saving up for it because he's got 3450.
Oh yeah, he's actually really rich. I didn't even notice that. Dennis just hoarding the money there. Oh, they still
Okay.
get an opening kill though. Yeah, Fabin's been
Yeah.
able to open up there on AZ. All right then. They don't. Oh, they do get the weapon,
little
but
bit
it's just an
concerned.
MP9. Dennis is actually going to claim that. He's hoarding everything. He's got the molly too. He's like all mine this round.
Look at
Speedy creeping out.
Look, I has
Fabin
no
gets
idea.
another.
Fabin's gonna
Forget
get
about
tracked.
Speedy. Oh no, what is happening? This is an
Okay.
eco, boys. You can't lose this. This flank though, it could recover things, but if Gade doesn't get at least 2 kills, then they're in a lot of trouble. And Diaz even lurking behind on A. He's been spotted, but now they know where Cajun is, so that slightly narrows down numbers. Fabin destroys Gade. Mike,
It's a save.
What's
They have to save. They don't have armor.
what's happening?
Dean, how have none of them died? Diaz the only one who's taken damage. Okay, Snatch is on 94, but come on. They don't have armor. They just bought 3 Deagles and a P250. That's it. What is happening here? North, it's all falling apart for them, and this is not the time to unravel.
No.
Sprout are getting the best of both worlds. Cajun's been spotted. Is he going to get traded? No, he brings in the kills, but they can't win this round at this point. They're off. They're just trying to survive with these 2 rifles. This is so absurd. You're saving in a round where your opponents didn't invest. And they are going to succeed at least, so these 2 rifles survive. But North, that's a catastrophe. They have fallen apart. That is the most bittersweet 4K you're ever going to see. Cajun B gets the 4K, but he's just crying the whole time because they have lost a boneheaded round. That huge mistakes, isolated fights, just a lack of a situational awareness for the B-site player where he's tucked in far too much, allowing the pistols forward. Really nice play from Sprout. Nutty Deagle shots, to be fair.
From
but
Fabin especially.
yeah. But this is a catastrophe. Now we've got a double op T side because they have the money for it. They won a round they didn't expect. The cash is great. And North have 3 pistols, a 4 spy in, and 2 M4 saved.
It's not looking optimal at the moment for North, no. They had a slow start in that first half, and they certainly can't afford to have another slow start here. It would potentially cost them the map and maybe even the game, as we said, with Dust 2 coming up next. Would have been such a strong map for Sprout. But yeah, I mean, 2 M4s in play here. They've kept quite a bit of money as well, just so that they can afford a buy as soon as possible. It's not going to be in this next round, rather the one afterwards, but that does look to be the goal. Smoke over towards Ivy there, I believe. Indeed. Put some pressure on those A players. Allow for maybe Dennis to peek out a bit, but he has been smoked off, so I don't think that'll be happening for now. So yeah, Sprout, they're just continuing on with the default. They haven't done a lot yet, and they do have a double up setup, which is a bit iffy when you're up against these weaker buys. Especially on the T side.
Yeah, but look at this. They've completely abandoned A, and that's the direction it's heading. They're not even going to have an issue. They're not even going to have a contest here. AZ's trying to get back onto site, but he is the only one. A flank might come down ladder, so if they wait too long, Sprout could be in a bit of issue. AZ tucked in the smoke is just going to try and catch the planter as it goes down and maybe try and pull off something on the clock. Favin takes care of Lekra. That's 1 threat gone. Bomb doesn't get planted, though. MSL has it on the timing. Now AZ could get the second. He's going to. Oh, 19 seconds. This is a problem now, Sprout. Oh, you made this look so good. Everything was working your way. It's all falling apart. Snatchy is the only survivor. 12 seconds he has to save. Sprout loses similar round. North get back to it, and Sprout just allow them too much time. AZ on the bomb train, the ace in the hole, but 2 big kills from MSL with one of the only rifles they brought through. And that's incredible from North. What a way to get back on track. Just run the clock out against your opponent. And now things are weird for Sprout. What a crazy couple of rounds in a row there, Dean.
I guess it's only fair. I
Yeah.
guess it's only fair. I don't know what's up with MSL this tournament. I don't know about stats wise, but from what I've seen in terms of how consistent he's been and how much impact
He's been one of
able
their
to
best
have.
players.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's definitely been within those top 2 players alongside. Well, Gade and AZ maybe, I don't know. I feel like Gade hasn't been as consistent. They kind of take turns showing up. When they show up together, incredible. They probably have a map win. But I feel like they've been a bit more inconsistent. They've been taking turns while MSL has been able to deliver every game. And yeah, it's been incredible to see. It's brought North back into a position where they can take some control right now, and that's as long as they don't give too much away, because Dennis has delivered an opening in favour of Sprout towards Ivy, but Gade, I mentioned his name a moment ago, and he will be able to get that trade back. A nice molly as well going down from his teammate, and taking all of the attention pretty much. He has a couple players, though, closing in the distance, but he deals with it well. 3 from Gade already in this round. MSL, he's ready for Snatchy after seeing the gun barrel, and it's even the quad kill in the end from Gade. So 9 for North, and this one's going to have to be the eco, so very likely we will have that scoreline tied up at 10-10.
Sprout are going to be taking themselves so much. They were gifted a round over. They were gifted an opportunity to take a massive lead, and they fumbled it. Not for that last round, obviously, but the round prior.
Yeah.
It just allowed North in, and that
Which still
honestly
has you
might be the
broken.
turning point in this entire game, because that should have been the death blow for Sprout. It's curious to see. Double op going to be up here. It is funny to see MSL and Cajun B as two of the top performers for North. It's just not the way that it consistently happens for them, but they are doing so.
Oh.
Gate, obviously, off that big 4K, does skyrocket to the top of the board,
Oh, we got a Zeus.
but we do have a Zeus out here.
How did Gate get tagged? I seen it over towards Ivy, but I don't know what weapon hit him because he just
he took a
instantly
nade.
lost. Oh, was it? Okay.
I think
Yeah.
he took 2 nades.
That's unlucky then. But we'll
Very
see.
high impact nade,
Should
apparently.
be still their round
That's
anyway.
not gonna work.
That was a nice
Yeah,
shot
I
from
can't beat
AZ.
that with the Glock.
AZ hasn't been doing a lot to be fair this game, so I'd like to see him wake up. Even if he just gets a few kills here, it's a bit of confidence building for him. And yeah, he's able to get 2 for himself, and the others are going to go ahead and clean up what remains. 10-10. We expected to be here after that previous round being an eco, but now we wonder if Sprout can come back alive because, I mean, yeah, they won out in eco earlier. We've yet to see a full gun round being won from them. At least on the T side, of course.
I'll tell you one thing I don't really want to see again. I don't really want to see that double op on T side.
Yeah.
It was one of the things that allowed that round to get
They
away
didn't
from them.
buy
not
that,
being
did
able
they?
to play it quick.
Was one carried over, or what the hell happened there?
I think one was carried over, and then they
Yeah.
invested into the second one, but I don't actually call exactly. But as it is now, we are going to have the 5 AKs up. Cajun B's got a little bit of a duel. The double op is here on the CT side, and it's so good for the defense. A little bit of concern. He was hoping for the boost back over to punish. It's not going to happen just yet, but Sprout don't really have any inroads. I will say, North, so light on the B presence. And this is what they do on most maps. They trust Lekro to hold. And he's good. He's very good at being that soul side anchor. It's such a tough job. Probably the hardest and most thankless job in Counter-Strike, being a side anchor.
Yeah.
That's what they ask of him.
AZ, though, he has a similar role on A right now, and sadly can't really do anything with it. I may have jinxed him a tiny bit. Gate is still around here, but for now it's just kind of hiding in behind the green train. Will he get a fight soon? No, he's gone. Okay, everyone just gets dropped through the smoke right there. This is just rolling over the A defense at the moment. A couple of kills eventually salvaged, but it is by those players that had to rotate back in from B. And at this point, it's not looking like they want to move for it, do they? No, they have money, but I guess you want to think long term as well, with it being such a close scoreline. There is the danger if they go for this hero seed and they spend everything into the next round, but there's still the there's still a situation that even if they save over these 2 weapons and buy up the other players, likely then won't have any money left over, so then it'll just be kind of maybe a few pistols being bought up on an eco. So there's a chance for Sprout to take some good control here, but what we've seen so far has been a very scrappy fight between the two. So I'm not discounting North. They can definitely bounce back here with a plentiful buy. They won't be lacking anything.
I think part of it is that they do have that double op, and they know how expensive that can get down the line, so they
Yeah,
want to keep it as
true.
healthy as possible. But look, when it was a 2v5, I absolutely expected to save, but then they get 2 kills instantly. And a 2v3 with plenty of time with the bomb having just gone down. Money to spare, that did seem like maybe a winnable situation. But North are going to stay disciplined. They're going to stick to their guns, which is that if we come up against them with a full buy and they have a full buy, we should be able to win the round. And they can give themselves as many opportunities for it as well. And this does guarantee at least one more buy in the tank, I think, as Lekro will have that 7k left over. He's going to spend some of it, but they should be able to drop an op over and make it work regardless of what happens here. Maybe it'll be a single op instead of a double op if nothing gets saved through, but we will see. 2 AUGs! We got a bit of a symmetrical buy here from North. AZ and Gade going to be picking up those scoped rifles. Where do they deploy those? Leaving just Lekro as the B-side anchor, the man with an M4.
Yeah, we've got the 4 scopes going at the moment for that A-bomb site. I guess they're going to try and keep their distance overall, but even as I say that, though, they go a little bit more forward on the whole. Having a player up on brown train, one up on the blue train as well. As he wanted to be in Pop Dog with that weapon as well, but has been mollied back out right now by Sprout, so can't go in yet, but he may reclaim it still. Indeed he will. And for now,
I kind of hate the AUG here.
Yeah, it's not a great option.
I love the AUG. I hate it in ladder because it slows your fire rate down. If 2 players drop, you're very vulnerable.
Oh, I was going to say we'll see how it goes, but MSL has actually already gone down. That was one of the ops, of course, over towards Ivy being caught. Yeah, very early advantage being found for Sprout, and they instantly start retreating away from main, other than just one player. They put a smoke down towards E-Box to try and limit vision, and they'll send one player to make a little bit of noise. It should be spotted, though, by AZ. Okay, he spots the shoulder of one player, and that does take him off the angle for the moment, so they can't quite see if there's a couple players or not approaching from that position. But they still have 2 on B, so let's see what Gade and Lekro can do about the hold over here. Lekro, no, he's not able to get anything. The AUG, though, it will be able to retrieve 2 kills and falls back into that smoke to stay alive for now. Great work by Gade. And with 2 players still heavily tagged on the side of Sprout, they are in trouble right now. Getting that bomb down, it's not going to be an easy task. There's actually a nade for Cajun. Can he get that in? Indeed, he will toss it over, and it doesn't get the kill, but Gade ends up taking one really quickly. But hang on, he's above. They have no idea, apparently. Snatchy's going to go down, and there we go. Spitty falls as well. North, they've done it. They've bounced right back. They've tied up the score again, and they'll even take a second there to retrieve a little bit more before the defuse comes in. The bomb plant goes down for Sprout, and how's their loss bonus looking? Okay, it's not
They can
great.
make it happen. It's not great, though. I expect
know.
a half buy to come through or something of that nature, but that was the Gade show. Again, we've now seen 2 or 3 of these rounds where Gade pulls up a huge play to bounce them back. It was a 5v3 at one point. Gade just starts killing everybody on that inner site, and they don't account for him. Sprout try and play passive as opposed to chasing down that kill, knowing that Gade was low, and that was the big mistake in the moment. Because he can slip away, he then gets that kill on Snatchy by going high on the bomb train, and they don't have the manpower to deal with it. So, very nicely done from Gade. Huge performance from him in a couple of these rounds. His kills have come in bunches, but they're the ultimate impact frags, right? He's gotten, actually, looking at his scoreline, he got a 4K that round, and he didn't have a kill between his last 4K and this one. They're coming in bunches.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's okay when you have MSL
great.
also stepping up pretty consistently. Cajun's having a really good game, as you said as well, being up there alongside the top fraggers at the moment. Lekro's been a bit quiet, especially on that B hold there in the previous round, but he still has a little bit of time to come alive.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, he's not playing bad by any means. Just we've seen some good performance, especially on Nuke from him yesterday. But yeah, 11-11.
It's the side anchor. It's such a tough role to play. His whole job is basically to buy time and do what damage he can. It is a thankless role. You're never going to have those sexy stats unless you're absolutely unreal. Good pick for AZ. Takes that ladder control early. He's got an AK this time, so that tight fight is much easier to work with. Dennis, you can tell he wants to trade it, but this is going to be a timing question. He's hoping he comes into his crosshair. Either that or Dennis might go for the drop. He's going to go for the drop. That's bold. AZ's giving it up. Sounds towards the E-Box now. And they'll at least be able to retrieve that rifle as a result. So they've got something more to work with. Although it's in the hands of an unarmored player, so there's only so much that can. Actually even gives it up. Over to Diha. Now here's going to come the hit. They brought a second player in. I like that for North. Smokes are going to come over. They're just trying to get a bomb plant here. That's the idea. And then get forward on the bomb trains and take it from there. Gade is here. The man who's been a monster is between the bomb train sections. And they're going to start dropping bodies. What can Gade do? Gade finds the first. That's the rifle down. The armored player out. And Gade, well, he will get taken away. And that's a bomb plant guaranteed for Diha. Naden would finish it, but there are none available. And Diha now just wants to try and do whatever damage he can. 1v4, no armor, no health. Yeah, he's not long for this world. But at least they planted that bomb.
Yeah, that's the issue with Train. When you're on the CT side, it's a bit easier to concede the bomb plant against an Eco or one of those weaker buys than it is on most other maps. Just because if they get down the ramp, if they can pile out upper as well at the same time, and that initial defender goes down without pretty much getting all of the kills, then there's a pretty good chance the bomb is going to be planted. Usually, even if there is a second player, he's a little bit further back and can't quite stop it unless the nades are in time. So yeah, a little bit of extra money at least for Sprout to work with. It does help them out now coming into this round, but they need to start pulling out some more themselves, some more rounds, that is, because, a reminder, they started things off on a really high note, going up, what was it, 6-2? Or 7-2 even?
It was 6-2 at one point. I mean, 6-1 at one point.
6-1, okay.
Most ideal for Sprout.
So it's certainly been North at the moment, controlling most of the situations. Sprout do need to come back to life, and being here on the T side as well, being down by one round, it is a little bit of a scary spot to be in. So yeah, this is where they need to bounce back and start building up some more rounds for themselves. Otherwise, I think North are on track to claim their map pick here.
It's only been 2 isolated rounds as well, one of which was that shaky, not even forced by, but just limited by that they somehow won. where it just seemed like it was North falling apart more than anything. That's a big kill, though, on Lekro. That means that the site is secured. It's going to be a retake setup for North, down a man. We've seen this with pistols plenty of time, limited setups, but now we need to see it with the guns. North, can they retake against it? KGB apparently thinks so. 2 big kills coming in from the man, and they're looking for more. Good answer from Snatchy. Now they know Snatchy's position, and damage will come through. MSL eventually finishing that off, and Dennis can't line up the kill. Speedy misses his spray. It's all over. MSL just dismantles them with 3 big kills on site. And that's going to be a defuse on, and North on to 13. Sprout had a prime opportunity. You've got an advantage. You've got 5 alive. You've got the site. And they just can't win their fights. They can't win their duels, and they go into far too many fights down the lanes and give the opportunity for North to get back in.
Yeah. I mean, normally you say it's hard to retake B here on Shrine with a double up setup, but as you said, too many opportunities were given to them in Cajun and MSL. They snatched them all up and keep propelling themselves now at this point towards the finish line. 13-11, the pause comes in from Sprout. Makes sense, they need to have a chat and try and correct what's going wrong. They need to calm down a little bit on those peaks when they're in situations, or at least be ready to follow up with each other. As yeah, the buy at least does come true. The loss bonus at this point is up at max. They were able to get themselves the extra money, of course, with the bomb plant too, so it's not bad.
No.
But they don't have the op available. And when you're up against MSL and Cajun, who are both hitting shots with their ops at the moment, that is not ideal.
Weirdly enough, yes. Ideally, you'd like to have Snatchy be able to go forward with that op, but I don't hate
He's
the
been
limitation
really quiet
of the
this
op.
halftime. He was 15
really
at
has.
halftime, right?
Yes, something along
17
those
now.
lines. Yeah, that's actually, you're absolutely right.
hang
That's a
on.
huge piece that's gone down for them. Speedy's going to get an end opener, though. Gate is blind. He's dropped down. Now they know. Speedy gets the punish. This is how they go quicker. This is where the AKs work for them. MSL, though, huge shot with a deagle. He has been unreal through this qualifier, and he's doing more of it. Molly in, but that'll just press Dennis further forward. Might pull him into MSL's crosshair. That's exactly what happens. That was the plan they drew up, but MSL's now down. It can't help them. Advantage still to Sprout. I have to be careful not to allow these CTs to work themselves into 1v1 fights. It's exactly what KGB is looking for. He's like, okay, isolate yourselves. Let me get this. Let me come around. Bomb's going to be planted. KGB playing tight up to the train. He's going to get this. Diha, no chance for the trade. No players close. Now they're playing off of it. There's smokes available. There's mollies available. And they'll start to eliminate positions. So Speedy's going to try and get into the angle. KGB's going to come looking for it. KGB loses that one. It was good till that point, but it all comes apart. And here's going to be an attempted defuse from Lekro. He wants to bait a response before he actually gets on that bomb, and now he'll do it. Gotta just spray him, and indeed Speedy will, lining it up to make sure he won't miss. That is an ace from Speedy.
All right, yeah, that's what they need. I don't think he's going to be able to do back-to-back aces, though, so the rest of them are going to need to help him out here in this round, because, as you said, so far we've only seen individual rounds, really, from them here on the D side, so they need to manage to find a little bit more. And yeah, another pause comes in. I guess they realize that, yeah, it's still way too close. They need to ensure that that's something they're able to replicate and keep on winning out the rounds. It will break down the economy of North if they win this one as well. At that point, the Danes will be in a lot of trouble, probably giving up the lead before they get back onto the rifles themselves. And considering the double up setup is something that they've been loving so much, that probably wouldn't be coming out then either. So, yeah, I mean, North, they can probably appreciate the moment to have a chat here before they bounce back into another round to try and redeem themselves from that previous. As you said, though, great work by MSL. I don't know what's up, but he is really feeling it throughout this entire qualifier, and it's good to see. But unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough within that round to actually get them the victory. As we get another pause, this one I believe being a technical pause. Do we have any info? Not exactly, but we know it's ended anyway. We know it doesn't last too long. The GoTV obviously has a little bit of delay. Oh, no, it didn't last long at all. It was literally just a few seconds. So we're good. We're getting back into it now, guys. And yeah, this round, not exactly going to decide it. Maybe for North anyway, you could send them up the map point unless the bomb goes down. And even then, actually, there wouldn't be enough for Sprout. So yeah, it is very important. If Sprout get it, though, they're up towards 14. And at that point, then North are the ones who will have to be fighting back in. So it's a very important round. It really decides who's going to be controlling this game now going into the final few. The final
So apparently
few rounds,
that tech pause was because Speedy had some issues, and whatever issues he was having, keep having them, man. You got an ace. You got an ace, bro.
He was too good in the previous round. He had to fix it.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I mean,
damn,
he wasn't
better lower
he
people's
literally went
expectations.
from bottom of the board to getting an ace in a round and catapulting himself up. So I don't know that he wants to fix whatever that was. I've just noticed that the scoreline right now is 13-14, 2 16s, and a 17. So what we need here is we need a little bit, couple kills to work out, and we could get the full count up number. Close, folks. We're close. That's clearly what matters in this matchup.
Oh yeah, not the IEM Beijing spot that's on the line.
Who cares about that? I care about scoreline symmetry. Lekro's the only player towards inner once again. He's got the cavalry coming in, though, and it's Gade. These two players together, quite a duo. Just below the ladder is AZ. Start to back out, but he's still going to be taking this fight, and they're going to test him. Foffin looking to clear it. Nade goes in. AZ's bailed, though. Good pacing from AZ. Giving it up at just the right time. Backing off towards the bomb train, setting up towards camera. They're ready for this hit to come through. 3 players on site. A little bit of vulnerability here, unless Cajun B can take this kill towards Ivy early. That would be nice. He's looking for it. But the utility's pushing him off. It's MSL instead to get the party started. There, Cajun B goes to clean it up. Now the pressure's on. They go towards the middle bomb train. AZ's playing with the smoke. That's brilliantly done. He catches Fav, and he won't be able to get the follow-up, but it's still just going to be Dennis. He's only got 15 seconds to go, and Lekro is whittling away his health in the meantime. Now he's frozen in his spot, and he knows he's going to be peaked, and it's all over. Another round for North, just 2 away from claiming map 1 here, and it does seem like Sprout have just come up against it. They've slowed right down at a critical juncture, and North look to take this home.
Yeah, really just slowed down a lot in general from that initial 6-1 lead that they had. And just great work there by North in that previous round to run down time and to make Sprout work for every single inch of map control that they got. Even when Favin dropped down into Pop Dog, he dropped the nade himself, I think, to kind of cover up himself as he was dropping so that the smoke would do so. But he took a bit of fall damage, and then the nade also brought him down a bit, and he ended up, I think, 60 before they could even start to hit, as well as Snatchy being tagged up. So, yeah, not ideal. North, they should be heading towards 15 before we see the guns again, and as we can see, Sprout are going to be aiming to try and take this one to an overtime. We mentioned that this was a must-win for North in terms of the way the veto has gone down with Dust 2 coming up next. That's one we favour for Sprout. So I don't think Sprout will be feeling too demoralised, but still, it was looking good initially. They had such a great start on the map that it's going to be a bit disappointing that they weren't able to keep up that performance.
On goes the hit. Molly's going to go through, but they are going to be able to get past it, I believe. Dennis is getting a ton of nade damage. Favin's actually just going to burn. I don't know quite what happened there. Maybe the nade just slowed him down too much, but should have been able to get away from that one, and he certainly does not. So kills for free here. Very little to work with here for Sprout. Lekro's about to claim another. Finishes off the already limping Dennis, and it's just all coming away. They couldn't get out while the smoke was still up. It's just Diha. He'll get a bomb plant. That'll allow them a proper buy in the last potential round as they fight for overtime, but that's all she wrote. 4 players surviving here for North. No real problems. They cruise through that one. Yes, they can't deny the bomb plant, but everything else works out for them. So Sprite, here it's do or die on train. Do or die. 3 rounds in a row to take us to overtime. That's what they're looking for, Dean. Do you believe? Can they do it?
Do I believe? No, not what we've seen from them here so far on the T side. I mean, 3 rounds sounds really plausible, but they've all just really dropped off. Snatchy hasn't really gotten a chance to get going either. He hasn't had the up all that many times. He does have a back out now, so maybe he can step up a little bit, but as I said, he's really slowed down, especially since the halftime, and they all just have in general. We had that 1 ace from Spiddy, but other than that, there's not really much being done. So North, they're definitely on track anyway to take themselves this first map, and as I said, pretty much necessary with Dust 2 coming up next, and then Vertigo, if we need it, which I think is still pretty possible rather, even if North end up taking this first map. Vertigo definitely would be an exciting one. Moving back out there to avoid the nade. Good work by Gade. But yeah, Sprout taking things slow. In the default at the moment, not really focused towards one position in particular, just trying to pressure everywhere. The bomb though, I believe, moving back up through the B halls. Indeed it is, on the back of Spiddy. Oh yeah, and it looks like they actually do want to just take it to B. Leaving D-Hat to lurk around Ivy, so he might try and pop out a little bit later. But the B hit looks to be, the B site looks to be targeted rather. Lekro's got a molly though.
He does. It's been a very mixed result for them. Presumably there's a smoke available for the Molotov. At least they've got to be ready for it. Now, Gade isn't here. He's been a player who shut them down, but the problem is that means MSL is here with the AWP. He's the one providing cover for Lekro. Lekro's worked his way up by the bomb train. He's going to have to take this fight. He gets 1 damage onto the second as well, so decent effort for Lekro, but MSL goes down to the AWP. Now an advantage for Sprout. They've had trouble hanging on to these before, but the thing is, because Diha's still here, because Diha's been spotted, he's freezing up the rotation. They have to account for him before they can rotate in to help their teammate, and this might just buy enough time. He's done his job, actually. They're frozen. They can't go forward. They don't want to deal with it. They're expecting this peak, and he is just bleeding out the clock, so they're going to have to go for the save. North wants nothing to do with this now. They've missed their own window of opportunity, and they're going to bail on it. So Sprout will win this round. We'll take the 13th. And a huge part of it is just Diha being annoying over here.
he's just such a nuisance. He finally shows himself, but it's when there's less than 10 seconds left on the bomb. So he's done everything he needed to do. Probably doesn't even care too much that he died. Only 2 going down as well in the round for Sprout, so that ensures that they can drop the weapons back over here to the 2 who did fall. Get all of the nades that they need as well, then obviously have no weaknesses here, because they still need 2 more in order to actually take us into the overtime. But that's only 2 rounds. That is very, very doable. I said I didn't believe earlier, but I mean, you put me on the spot. I had to say something. I may live to regret it, and I won't really care, because then we'll be getting an overtime in this fantastic game. And this fantastic map will keep going on. But we've got the pause from North now. They realize they don't have a lot of opportunities to actually close this. If they lose out this round here, they only get 1900 loss bonus, and yeah, that wouldn't give everyone enough to buy. It would only really be MSL and Cajun who could. AZ, Lecro, and Gade, then especially AZ would be low on money.
If we look at the trend of this half, though, what it's been isolated rounds for Sprout. They've been unable to chain 2 together.
Yeah.
They had that obviously insane round where they won with the pistol, no armor. That never should have happened. But then there were 3 immediately back in response in a row from North, including 1 forced by. Then there's 1 round, then 3 in a row. 1 round, 2 in a row. 1 round, that's where we're at right now. Let's see if Sprout can finally chain some rounds, or if North are just going to be able to close things out here. The double op is out. It's back to the AUGs as well. Many scopes, the 4 scopes. North, they want a little vision into their future, so they're consulting their foroscopes. Let's see if the portents are good.
Yeah, I mean, they were rocking this setup earlier as well. Lecro always the one on the M4. He finds that weapon a bit more viable. The high fire rate when you're solo in a bomb site is quite useful. And the smoke faded away just before they started going. MSL had free vision. Lecro's going to catch one as well. He can just tuck in now and allow for MSL to watch that and focus on upper. But no, he ends up dropping down because of the Molotov. So he will fall. But MSL able to trade out again and keep it at this point now in a 2-man advantageous position for the CTs, and it just keeps on getting better. They don't even let the bomb go down. Dennis is all alone. It's looking like this is going to be it for Train as Dennis runs out of bullets. That's as awkward as it could have possibly been. And then he gets naded down just to add a bit of insult to injury. 16-13. North, they're able to close it out.
That is a huge bummer for Sprout as well. North, phenomenal showing for them. We saw, I mean, if we're looking at the scoreboard here, I knew at one point it was like 22 all across the top. MSL steps up at the end there. He's 26. He paces the board, which is huge for North. Then you've got Gate on 22. You've got KJB on 22. It's a really good scoreboard for them to look at. Is they're hitting. They've got enough players hitting that this is working out. We saw some big holds coming in from every player. So really good form for North. There was that round. I'm going to draw back to it just because it was so unbelievable where they lost a pistol, no armor.
True.
That could have derailed everything for them. But immediately winning the subsequent force buy, getting back on track, that shows the mental toughness and discipline. And Sprout just really couldn't get back into the map from there. So well done on map 1. Curious to see if we're going to get some fight like this from North on map 2.
Well, I mean, North can play Dust 2. It's just it's such an incredible map for Sprout. We've seen them beat them on it recently enough as well, just a couple of weeks back, and